Alright, so I'm going to be removing my tack today. I bought a new one. I bought an Autometer gauge. The only reason I'm changing this is because of that little blue light. So when it's bright outside, I can't see it. And I've had this thing for a long time. I've used it quite a bit. And I'm just going to replace it with one that I can see a little better. It's got the yellow bulb. So I'm going to get this all taken out. And I can't figure out why my light quit working. So I need to look at that too. So for the 12th or 13th time this year, I got to pull my panel back off. Oh, look at that cobble job. Alright, so I made this one, I was smart about it. I just put connections on there, that way I could pull it off anytime I needed. So now I gotta do is just unbolt it and pull the whole thing off. Alright, so all I did on my truck was I got this little dash topper here, and I drilled a few holes in it, and then used a piece of aluminum to kind of sandwich the dash so I wouldn't smash it, because the dash isn't too good. That's why I got the cover. And then I just run a couple bolts down through it, and that's how I hold this on. Alright, so skip ahead a few days. New gauge is here. I said it was an Autometer. It wasn't. It was auto gauge. The only reason I bought the auto gauge is because it's silver and I want to keep the theme. So go ahead and get this unboxed and get her in the truck. Okay, so your gauge tech. Lay it out here. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to use my same bolt holes to get this mounted on with. So I run not sure where I put that. I just took a piece of aluminum and put over my dash. See if the holes line up, and the holes do not line up, so I got to drill another hole here. Okay, so I punched out the tabs here, and then I drilled another hole because I use this for my dash so that it gives it a little bit more room. Okay, got my hole drilled. I forgot that I had moved that mount, so when I move the mount, that means I gotta move the other ones. So alright, get that one tight. Yeah, that'd be nice. Bust my window. That'd be real nice. do need a new one, so I guess I couldn't complain too much. Alright. I want this tight, but I don't want it because the dash is already a little messed up, so I'm gonna have to just rework this the best I can. Okay, so okay, there's that. So next step we gotta do is our rubber sits in here. Go ahead and I'm gonna pull these out loose. Okay, so you get a whole bunch of wire. This one has loops, so we got to figure out before we get too far if we need to cut those or what we need to do with the V8 one. So before we do that, I want to get all my wires run through the dash, which means we got to figure out where our other hole is at. Actually, I might have to pull this up. The white one. Make sure those don't fall back through. There's a green one here. Make sure that one don't fall. And we got a red. Okay, so we got this pretty close. Now I gotta go through and refix this thing again. This thing is nice, but man, it can be a pain in the ass too. Okay, so now you gotta figure out which one's which. So you need to look, because on some of these they got loops, so you got to figure out what cylinder you have. I have 8-cylinder. It tells me I don't need to make any changes to where this one here that I used bought years ago, you just select which one it is, which makes it kind of easy. So it tells us not to make any changes for the ones we need. So I'm going to go ahead and make quick connects for what I got, which everybody will laugh at me. I don't really care. This is how I'm going to do it, because I've had too many. I've changed this in and out so many times on different vehicles. Okay, I skipped ahead a little bit. So I got my wires done. I run my 12 volt and my auxiliary power for your light. I run a toggle switch. And then your black wire, I run to my ground, which is down here. And then your green wire goes down to your gray wire off your MSD box if you're running the 6AL. Or you can hook it into your distributor if you're running like the GM one wire alternate or one wire distributor. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to get these put in here. Not sure if I want to run my light where I ran it before, but for now we're just gonna go ahead and mount it right where we got it. Just go ahead and slide this in there. Yeah, rubber's trying to come out. Okay, I really wanted to have one that 0 was here and then it only went to like 8,000 RPM, but I couldn't find one that I wanted. The only reason I bought this one was because it matched my other gauges. So it's a little bit goofy, but I want to run my light down here because it gives me a little better field of vision up here. The only thing that sucks is trying to get the bolts tight, which I struggled on the other one quite a bit. Because you don't have any room. So you gotta do is you gotta tighten one side, and then when it's pretty close you gotta snug it just a little bit more so you know it's good. Which this side's probably turning also. Alright, that one's pretty close, so I'll try to stand this up the best I can. Okay, so what I'm talking about is, for instance, on this one uses Allen head or Allen wrench to tighten it. Well, mine don't. Mine uses 7 or a 1/4 inch bolt, so it's hard to get in there when you got the dash in the way. And again, I want to keep this down here because I can see more. Carpet's gonna drive me nuts because I want it to be just right. I don't think it's gonna work out like that. This will probably be the longest tack install on YouTube that you'll ever see. Of course, that side's spinning now. Isn't that nice? Okay. these are still a little bit loose. I left that like that for a reason. I can go ahead and snug these down just a little bit more. Okay, it's gonna move a little bit. That's good enough. And then we got our little wire here for our shift light, which they make because you can move this wherever you want it within reason. If you want to go a little bit bigger or a little bit farther away, then you'll just have to buy a little extension kit, which I had thought about. I thought about putting mine over here, but I guess it wouldn't make a difference to me because either way I just want to see it. I don't need to stare at it. I just want it just to flash. So got a couple wires, pull through, go ahead and tuck these under. So now I can take my wires, wad these up within reason. And then, oh, it didn't work. I try to get usually, like if I'm at work, you try to get your wires round, make them look nice, but anytime I do them on a vehicle or anything, I try to get them like this. The reason is because if they're flat, you have more space to put these versus this mess. Which this is a lot better than what it used to look like, so I'm very thankful for that. Okay. So, try to get this back in place. I'm always going to put one screw in it for now because I want to check it with the battery. It seems like I always forget, or I pull off a wire and then I get this thing all back together and I got to tear it all back apart again. Which, I mean, I like working on the truck and all, but it's a real pain in the ass when you gotta do it over and over and over and over. All right. Make sure these are snug. Yeah, let's shut the slide off. That's what we want right there. Nice and bright. So I want to shift this about 5,500. Yeah, it does at $6,000, but we want to put it about 5,500. Go. So it shifts at 500, so it stays there with the key on. There's your limiter set at 6,000, and then there's your shift. Like that.